Hello and welcome back to another week of Two Sheep in a Pool. My name's James.
And my name's Ben.
How have you been?
I've been good.
Right, can we just talk about for a second? Right, this is going to sound really British.
Are you going to talk about the weather again?
Yes, I'm going to talk about the weather again.
Obviously.
Because it's been like stretches of glorious, glorious sun. And then yesterday it was just horrendous.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's British summer.
It is,
we got spoilt last year because it was so good for months.
We did. It was glorious. But I think I've got two complaints this week.
Go on. Do you want to do the second one or the first one first?
Whatever one I do first, it's the first one. That's why they're saying first things first doesn't make any sense.
Unless you're working off an itemized list.
True.
And the first one is labelled as first.
Moving on. Basically, I went out to the beach on last Friday with Annie.
Yes.
Formby Beach. Lovely, glorious sun. I made sure to sun cream up.
Well done.
Because I didn't want to get burnt. Mm-hmm. Because have you seen my burns that I got while I was away in America?
I don't think I have.
I got like severe burns on the back of my legs, which blistered and like massive like golf ball sized blisters on the back of my leg. Yeah, and I got proper sunstroke. And I was like laying in bed and it was horrible.
Is that your complaint?
It's semi in the
sunburn. I
got sunburn again this time, but in one of the most. I've never had it in this place before. It's like an unusual place.
Was it your balls?
Yes, I just had my balls like hanging out of my pants and I didn't realise.
Sorry, go on.
No, it was a good guess. Basically, I got burnt on my belly button.
What?
Yeah.
In it?
Like, kind of just like the inner circle, basically.
Are you an innie or an outie?
I'm an innie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find outie ones a bit weird. Sorry to anyone listening who's got an outie.
I feel like... Yeah, I wonder what causes that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But mine's an innie anyway, and I think basically I put sun cream on, but I didn't like finger my belly button with sun cream and then lay in the sun kind of like directly above me and kind of burn the inside of my belly button.
I've never burnt.
Yeah, that's because you're an olive-skinned maniac.
I think the worst I've burnt was I got really cocky when we went on holiday to Tenerife. I'd not been on holiday for about 2 years, but I was like, I never burn. And then went out there and it was like 40-degree heat, and I was like, I don't need sun lotion. I just went a bit pink. It wasn't that bad.
Gosh, I was a little bit. We just sat in the back garden before while I had my lunch, and we had a drink, and I was a little worried sitting out there.
Really?
Yeah. I burn really easily.
I always underestimate the British sun though, because I always think, it's Britain. Can't burn. It does actually get hot though. On occasion. Not often, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I know when it's hot because I burn, definitely. I feel like I'm a ginger in a dark-haired person.
Well, you've got a ginger beard.
I do.
But no ginger hair.
I think I have like the odd ginger strand in my hair, but it just gets like absolutely drowned out by my dark hair.
By your brown locks.
But you would say brown?
Dark brown.
Yeah.
Like dark brown.
Yeah, I never know.
Yeah, it's brown.
I don't know what to say.
I wouldn't say it's... Because when you see... I think you'd notice if someone's got black hair, because it's just... Well, you're wearing something black. The headphones on you are black. And your hair, it makes, by contrast, your hair look more brown than normal. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great listening here, talking about the colour of my hair.
What's your second complaint?
I think I had something else, but I also want to complain about sand.
Sand.
And it's going to sound very prequel memes here, but it's rough at course. And it gets everywhere. Like, my mum despises going to the beach just because of how much sand gets everywhere.
Say Star Wars. I wonder how many people got that reference.
We'll see. But I do. It was nice. It was really hot. But then when the wind picked up, we were in like a loose sand bit, and it just smacked us in the face.
Yeah.
And we bought a windbreak.
Yes.
Which we could not stake into the ground because the sand was too loose. It was like just falling over. So we looked like fools for the first 20 minutes trying to stake this in. What a waste. What an absolute waste of time and money.
Yeah, I do like beaches, but I think there's nothing more depressing than when you go to a beach and the weather's not nice.
Yeah.
Like if you go for like a coastal walk in Britain, half the time it's not going to be sunny.
True.
I just think it's depressing.
I tell you when it's all right, when you're walking the dogs. The dogs love the beach.
That's true.
So that's quite nice.
I think I would love to live by a beach.
Yeah.
At some point in my life.
Yeah, I went out to the sea and stood in it for like, I don't know, 15 minutes and just soaked it in.
Yeah.
Just the sound.
Just
and
stood.
Yeah, it was nice, man.
Did nothing else.
Well, I didn't want to do so much swimming because there was, I think they said jelly babies then. There was jelly babies everywhere.
They're known to sting you bad, them.
Yes. Jellyfish.
Yes.
There's jellyfish everywhere. And there's quite a few large dead ones on the beach, so I didn't want to do much swimming. And
They look like aliens.
they do.
I remember as a kid, we saw them. In fact, it was terrifying when we were on holiday when we were little. There was a beach in Mallorca that was like this little cove. And there was, I think we must have just been in jellyfish season. I don't know whether that's a thing, but there was just hundreds upon hundreds just coming up out of the sand. And it just looked like an alien invasion, like scattered amongst the sand.
You're terrible. You can't deal with the land. Useless.
They are a bit useless.
They are.
Yeah.
They're like 98% water.
Yeah.
And don't really have a brain.
No.
I don't know. Is that life? Are they living? Do they have a consciousness?
Nah. Barely. But they
Yes.
sting you.
They sting you because they're dickheads.
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of a would you recommend? Will you recommend?
Okay, I've got a couple here. Let me get my thing up so I can get involved.
Okay.
Okay, go on.
So I think I mentioned to you, I think the other week, hey, you were asking for podcast recommendations, I think, maybe. And I recommended 13 Minutes to the Moon. Mm-hmm. Have you listened to it?
I've not.
You've not?
Because
Well,
I downloaded another book, which I'm about to recommend.
fair enough. Yeah, I would seriously recommend this to anybody. It's kind of reliving the 13 minutes it takes for the Eagle capsule to go from the command module down to the moon, and kind of explores all the different things that went into that. The music's by Hans Zimmer.
I think we spoke about this last week.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
the podcast.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, shit. Maybe cut this bit then.
Okay.
Anyway, it's really good.
It's really good.
I recommend it again. Go on, you go, and then I'll go again, because I've got one.
I got two things. First things first.
Yep.
Dune.
June. Yes.
Like a sand dune,
Yes.
not the month of June.
Yes.
So it's a book that's being made into a film. I think it's meant to come out next year. But I knew that it was coming out, looking for books, thought, let's give it a go. And it's good. It took me a while to get into. Mm-hmm. So it's set in, not necessarily the future, but it's set in space, like on a different planet.
Yes. It's like a space opera, is how I would describe it.
And without getting like too into it, there's like the premise is there's this like very valuable drug, effectively, called spice.
Spice.
And there's all these like different races and planets and cultures kind of fighting over control of who has the spice.
Yeah.
Sort of.
And it only comes from one planet.
Only comes from one planet, yeah, which is a dangerous planet. But my complaint with this,
Okay.
which I mentioned to you but not on mic. So we're in space. There's all these fantastical things going on.
Yeah.
There's all these crazy names. So there's a guy called Skilgard. There's a guy called Fade Routher. Guess what the lead character's called? He's called Paul.
Yes.
Why? Nothing wrong with the name Paul, but when it's amongst all of those other names, it sounds so like lackluster for your lead.
All I'm saying is
Lead
better
guy.
than like Dave
Yeah.
or something like that. Yes, it does sound lackluster, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know why they went with something like Paul. Is that because he's the main character and he wants to have a name that is more relatable?
Maybe. I mean, he ends up getting like 3 more names as the book goes
He
on.
does.
But I'm really enjoying it, actually. It's like I said at the beginning, I found it a little bit tedious because he has created this whole world and he just jumps straight in with these like fake lore things, but just speaks about it like, there's a plant. Like in something in our world, but he'll be like, there's the ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. And you just kind of meant to know what it is.
Yeah. I think this is a classic of start in the middle.
Yeah.
So, like, he probably had, I don't know, probably 600 pages of previous stuff.
Yeah.
And he's gone, I don't need that. Like, set up the whole world. And he's like, nah, people can get the world from just listening and reading the book.
You do get it eventually.
You do.
I forget a lot of the names, but I've gone straight on to the next book anyway. Dune Messiah.
It is.
It's good so
Yes.
far. I'm not too far in, but
I think I read Dune and then Dune Messiah, but I haven't read any more. After that.
Okay.
By read, I mean listen to. But
yeah.
that's another thing with these books is they're done by multiple people doing the voices.
We're talking, audiobooks here,
Yeah.
not just book.
Yeah, you don't have someone come and read it to you in bed.
Yeah.
Well, that would be cool. But that's basically what an audiobook is.
Although I couldn't quite work out from some chapters, they'd have like a voice cast as if it was like a radio drama, people voicing them. But then sometimes it would just switch to the narrator talking as them. I don't know whether he was switching between like first person and third person in how he was writing.
can't say I remember.
Because that threw me a bit, because there was like one of the guys that had this super like bassy voice. And
Oh, it's so good.
hello, my name is Bassman. And then, but then in another chapter, the narrator would just be talking as him, and it took me a minute to clock on, oh, it is the same guy.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. How have you found, now that you're listening to more audiobooks, is it the same narrator from Dune to Dune Messiah?
No, but I think one of the voice actors from Dune is narrating
Okay.
the second book.
Yeah.
There's more people narrating in the second one.
Yeah.
I haven't worked out why, but there's sometimes a female character voicing a whole chapter and then another one voicing...
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to like come into play later on, but...
Not that I remember.
Whether it just... That's just how it is now.
Yeah, I often find when I start a new book, because it's like passive listening, I kind of have to tune into that person's voice and their way of listening, talking. Otherwise, I struggle and I'm not really listening. It kind of just washes over me.
Yeah, for sure.
It often will take a couple of hours before I'm properly tuned into a book.
Especially if you, because most of them I've liked the voices. I still stand by, and I can't remember his name because he's a huge narrator who's done hundreds and hundreds of things, who did The Stand by Stephen King.
Right.
I hate his voice.
What is it? Was his W's? Well.
No, just his whole accent. I just did not enjoy his voice. But then I Googled him, and he's like this famous narrator for hundreds and hundreds of things. And I was just like, why? There's so many good narrators out there, and you don't sound good.
You can just avoid his books.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about the book that I've been listening to at the moment.
I think we need to start a separate podcast that's just a book club.
Maybe we'll just do a little book podcast. That'd be pretty cool. Like a 10, 15 minute one. Mm-hmm. 2 sheep in a book.
Yes.
Come on.
2 sheep in a book?
Yeah. And a book, not in a book.
Oh, and a book.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, 2 sheep in a book.
Yeah. But it does sound like in a book, doesn't it?
In a book.
Yeah.
Either or. People will catch on.
And basically, I'm reading the Nuremberg Trials.
Okay.
So it's not a fiction book, it's a non-fiction book. Mm-hmm. And I never really knew the full history of the trial, and I'm finding it really interesting, and how much more interesting I'm finding history now as an adult than when I was a child. I think
that's the case. I find that as well.
Yeah, did you find that history at school was like... For me, it was one of my least liked lessons, and I dropped 100%. It as soon as I could.
It was because I feel like there was only 2 areas that you focused on. There was World War II.
Right.
And, like, Tudors.
Yeah.
That was all I remember from it. We never seemed to cover many other bases.
I think I much preferred, like, classical history.
Definitely.
So Romans and Greeks over just normal history. But I'm enjoying learning about the Nuremberg trials now, because I never really knew how it went down and what's happening. It's a very long book, but it's covering basically from start to finish the whole trial. I'm not all the way through it, so it could get really boring, but I imagine not. So I recommend that.
Okay, I think there's one more. I wasn't going to talk about this, but in my family, like amongst cousins and stuff, we've started a WhatsApp group for a few different things, but one of them's a book club, and we've done War of the Worlds for the first one. Okay. So if any of my family are listening, stop listening because I'm about to discuss it. So War of the Worlds, I don't think it's that good.
Okay.
I don't know whether it's because I appreciate it's obviously a lot older than a lot of books, and it probably spawned a lot of other sci-fi books, but it feels now like a very watered down idea compared to a lot of newer sci-fi, because I think sci-fi is probably the most the type of book that I've read the most, and there's some really good ones, and this one, just the stakes all felt very low and very uninteresting compared to a lot of the other ideas that I've read recently.
Would you say it's more like soft sci-fi versus like hard sci-fi?
Yeah,
I think Dune you could classify as hard sci-fi.
Oh yeah, like it could. That one almost gets like very pretentious, kind of just going off for hours upon these like philosophical like politics within space. Yeah. Whereas War of the Worlds was very much there's just a guy, and an alien came to Earth, and then they died. Right. Like he didn't do anything, and I feel like the thing that I've not liked a lot is that there's no strong characterization. Like he has no arc. I couldn't tell you his name. I don't even know if we find out his name. I know nothing about his emotions, really, other than he's just scared a bit. Like, it all felt very, I don't care about him. Right. From start to end.
Are you not supposed to care about the world being taken over, though?
Maybe, but nothing felt that threatening.
Really?
Because
I've not read the book.
It went over
so.
such a small span of an area.
Okay.
Like, people did die, and obviously, like, oh, that feels threatening. But then there was nothing past that, really.
Okay.
And it was all over very quickly.
Right.
Like, the reason they died was because they weren't used to, like, the bacteria and stuff in the air here.
It's a cold, isn't it, basically?
And they died. Which I was kind of, okay, if they were advanced enough to come from their planet, travel to another one, you think they'd have accounted for that? So I think it's kind of a flimsy plot point anyway. But it was fine. Like,
what did you think of the Tom Cruise movie, War of the Worlds?
Oh, I watched that years ago. I don't remember loving it, but I don't remember hating it.
Yeah, I don't remember it being bad, but I feel like that had pretty high stakes.
Yeah.
It felt like there was bigger than that. So I imagine the book was like that. But it was also like a radio thing as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I think people, when it came out, got terrified because they thought that aliens had actually invaded. Yeah.
So maybe that's why it had more hype about it.
Yeah. Like, again, I think he was interesting in, he'd pose a lot of philosophy questions. Like,
right.
They were kind of interesting, but just overall, didn't love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More books. It sounds a bit like Brave New World.
Yeah.
Which I have read and was like, oh, I thought this was going to be better from the hype that it has.
Yeah.
So.
I'd say give it a go because it's out of public, in the public domain now because it's been out for so long.
Right.
So there's just a free podcast that I listen to. I didn't have to download it as an audiobook.
Okay.
It's just free for anyone to do what they want with now. It's only short, so I listened to it in like 2 days. Just give it a go because I think it's one of those ones that's worth listening just so you've
done it,
read it.
Yeah.
But yeah, didn't love it. I'd like to see what you think actually.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we move on to news, Bleat?
Go on then. Right, what you got?
Right. I don't know if you saw the other day. It's not particularly happy news, but someone had a body land from a plane in their back garden while they were sunbathing.
Jesus.
Yeah, and it made me think when we were sat outside in the sun, like how horrific that would have been.
They killed them.
Yeah, basically they were like 3 meters away. I've not, and you see.
I'm assuming when you say the body landed, that it was like a sky jump thing gone wrong.
So basically, what they think it is a stowaway on a plane.
Oh.
So someone stowed away in a plane. I think it came from Ethiopia.
Oh.
And so it flew all the way. They kind of froze to death. Yeah, and then fell from the plane.
Oh, that's even more grim.
I know. But I just thought that's such a crazy. Like, how horrific would that be? Just chilling in your garden and a dead body lands next to you.
Yeah, 999. There's a body in my garden.
Yeah.
It fell from the sky.
Imagine this. It just sounds like bullshit, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? You would be the first suspect as well, wouldn't you?
Of course you would. Well, I think they'd be able to establish quite quickly.
Turn somebody's frozen.
Okay, yeah, this wasn't.
It's the perfect crime, isn't it? You kill someone,
put them on a plane, get them to fly over your house, and just fall out the right moment.
Freeze them, and then just hit them into the ground. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I can imagine that'd be like quite scarring to have.
Yeah,
happened.
Definitely. Especially because if you're at home, safe space in the garden, not expecting anything like that to happen. Body, Jesus.
Do you reckon that would affect the house price of the houses around there?
You wouldn't have to advertise that. It's not like a hotspot for bodies falling out of the sky.
Yeah, I bet the house prices are probably quite affected by the overflying planes anyway, I imagine. I think it was around London area, I think. Yeah. So crazy.
That's sad. Well, that side story that's kind of related. Someone I know from the running club also does jumping out of planes. What's the word that I can't think
Skydiving.
of? Is it skydiving?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he does it frequently enough that he owned his own parachutes.
Right.
He jumped out of a plane last weekend and his parachute failed.
Okay.
So he had to take his first chute off. I don't know why he had to take it off, but I'm assuming there was a reason.
Okay.
So he did, dispensed of that, and then his backup chute did work. Thankfully, he was alive to tell the story. But how much would you guess that a parachute was? Because he was very, very, I don't want to say depressed, but he was a little upset about the fact that he'd lost his parachute. Yeah. And it was because of the cost of it.
I imagine that the probably pretty high because of like all the testing that it has to go through and all the standards that it has to
I didn't imagine it'd be cheap, but if you were just rough figure, what would you say?
5,000.
Okay, it wasn't that much.
Oh.
It was $3,000. But
Okay.
I was like, I was expecting something between 500 and $1,000.
Okay.
I thought for a parachute, I didn't expect multiple thousands.
Let's think about this, Ben. Right, there are a range of parachutes that you could buy.
Obviously, you wouldn't go for the
they
cheapest.
Start at 500. Well, then who would produce
No,
the cheap
what
one
I'm
then?
saying is, I didn't know the ceiling for parachutes in terms of money. I didn't know whether
I think there's
cheap,
a floor for parachutes.
a cheap one was. I don't know. I didn't know where that was. I understand what you're
I
saying.
would never. You would. Why would anybody buy a cheap parachute? I wouldn't
I'm
trust
not
any cheap
saying
parachute.
you would. I'm saying in relative terms, if the most expensive parachute you could buy was $3,000,
Yeah.
and that was like for a fancy patterned one, and then there's another one for
For a
$1,000,
pound, and it was a napkin,
No, I'm not
and a man
saying
just said, "Don't fall." What? I do not understand how you can think that parachutes might be cheap.
No, I'm not saying cheap. I'm saying £800. If someone said, "Oh, a decent-ish parachute, £800," and then really cheap ones, $400, obviously you'd go for the 800 one.
But you can find like decent like fishing rods for £800.
Yeah.
Like, and they probably don't have to save anybody's life. Unless you're hanging someone out and
I
playing
know
with
that
a
all
fish.
products are relative to their own value in different
Okay,
fields.
okay.
I just didn't know the value of a parachute.
Hey Ben, here's one for you. Planes. Did you know they're expensive?
Oh my god. You're such a bellend.
Well, I've got some more happy news for you.
Okay, please
Not
move
necessarily
on.
happy, but did you know IKEA have released their own font
No.
that's made out of sofas?
Hang on, what?
So IKEA have released a font that is made out of sofas.
Okay.
So they had like an online thing where you could design your own sofa. You know, you could use a
Yeah.
selection of parts and you could create your own sofa.
Okay.
And basically, people memed and made like, "Oh, here's my £15,000 sofa. Quite expensive, you might say. Quite expensive.
Okay.
Not expensive as a but basically they've come out and said, hey, you could basically they've made all the letters in the alphabet plus capital and
I don't know
small
how they
letters.
do an O.
Do you want to have a look at it?
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's 8-bit basically.
Because
It's
I
not-
can't picture it being anything other than awful
Oh, I mean you wouldn't.
as a functional font.
Oh yeah. You wouldn't use it as a functional font. It's basically 8-bit but sofas.
Oh, I wasn't expecting it. It's like lying down at an angle.
Oh yeah, it's like 3D because otherwise you wouldn't know they were sofas.
Oh yeah, it's like bird's eye view. Okay, I thought it was like parts of a sofa just head on.
No.
The world's comfiest font.
Well, can you what other font could you sit on, Ben?
I thought you were going to say, I've seen that IKEA were, I think, petitioning for some place in London that they're making IKEA houses.
Oh, okay.
They're like flat pack houses.
I'm sure I've seen this years ago.
Yeah, I'd seen something a while ago. Not from IKEA though, but
Oh, okay.
I thought that's where you're going to go. No,
No. Sorry.
it's a font.
It's a font.
Sorry, I should have known.
It's a bit happier than a house, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there was that. And then the one thing that I kind of wanted to bring up is that there's a bit of controversy. Have you seen from Cancer UK? Have been putting out billboards and stuff like this that's basically packaging that looks like cigarettes, but it says obesity on it.
Okay.
And it's basically because obesity's become like the second highest cause of cancer outside of cigarettes, outside of smoking.
Okay.
Which I thought was quite. I never really knew that.
No.
Like, I knew obesity was like bad for like your heart and
Just
lungs
in
and
general,
yeah.
yeah.
Your general health.
No, I didn't know that. I knew it was like a factor, but I didn't know it was that
Yeah.
high of a factor.
It's like it's not comparable to smoking. I think smoking is a couple of
By
factors
far and away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like obesity's
didn't
up
know
there
that.
as well, which I thought was. But then basically, Cancer UK have been getting some flack because people are outraged that they're comparing obesity and smoking. I think it's because
I'd
people
say they're not out of line though. If it factually is
Yeah.
the second biggest cause, of course they can use that. It's not targeting people because they want to.
No.
It's just factually
I
accurate.
think some people feel a little fat shamed
Yeah.
into being like. I think there's a sometimes a victim complex if you are obese. Mm-hmm. People that are like, oh, it's just I've just big boned, or kind of come to accept it and love who they are. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I think those people that smoke are like, oh yeah, I know it's terrible.
I think people can do
But I
whatever
do it.
they want. People
Yeah.
can smoke. People can, do whatever, but they can still be made aware of the facts of things.
Yeah, I think there's just controversy in making the two comparable. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think there's a problem in them doing what they've done if it's factually accurate. It's not out of nowhere. It's not. Yeah.
Talking of like weight and stuff, you've lost a lot of weight. How do you feel now that you've lost a lot of weight?
A lot better.
Like in yourself, or like, what do you mean by a lot better?
In every way. Like just from day to day. I don't know. I don't feel as self-conscious as I once did. Feel healthier. Like just running up some stairs isn't an issue now. Like, yeah, I'd say confidence-wise, it's been a lot nicer. Like I went for the first time in years. Actually, I went to a wedding, and I bought a suit because I obviously didn't fit my suit. Now I'm 4 stone lighter, and I enjoyed wearing a suit. Because I used to hate going shopping for them because I couldn't find one that would fit, and I'd hate how it fit. It'd always be too long and too baggy. And then I found this suit, and I was like, I actually feel nice in a suit.
Nice.
Also, we should wear suits more.
Should we do like a fancy podcast?
We should, yeah.
Get like some scotch and a cigar.
Yeah, I'd be up for that.
I like a suit, but I think I'd like a suit less if I had to wear one every day for work.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, they're not the most comfortable
I think
pieces
like
of
when you
clothing.
get into a suit, sometimes you're like, oh, this is like, because I like silk and stuff on the inside. Like, oh, this is very nice. And like the pants, in comparable to jeans, are often kind of like smoother and nicer.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I could wear this, but I think over time you're like, oh, this.
The novelty would wear off.
Yes,
for sure.
for sure. Moving on.
Should we go on to the main topic?
No, let's do fake news or not.
Let's do fake news or not.
You're always forgetting. I feel like you always forget this. Like I'm winning, so I'm gonna forget it.
Hang on, let me.
Checking the scores.
I've redone this. Oh, if we've not noticed, our website is back up and running, and you can email us again now.
It was interesting because I got through a message, the email. It was just like test 4, and then the time of day, and I was like, oh, nice. That's like 4 hours late.
Some of them, they came through the one that I sent first came through last,
Right.
like 2 days late. Eventually, everything just kind of worked out because I did what I thought would fix it.
Yeah.
It didn't fix it. But then
Okay.
2 days later, it did eventually fix it. It just happened really... Anyway, this isn't fun.
Anyway, sorted. You can email us now.
Scores. Do you know roughly what the scores might be? Because it's quite a lot now.
I feel like you're on like 30 something, and I'm on like less than 20.
No, you're above 20.
Okay.
So I'm 32
Yeah.
to 25.
Okay.
No, it's not,
That's not as
horrific.
bad.
But I was, yeah. I
pulled away.
pulled away.
I think that's because you're cheating, Ben.
How we have changed the rules like 5 times
It's because
to what you wanted to change.
because I want you to tell me whether you think it's true or not.
Yeah.
But you don't give me that. you basically go pick blindly in the dark,
Yeah.
and then
Well, I mean, at this point, we've literally got a 50-50 chance.
yes.
If you were to say one word and I was to say yes or no.
But then why are you so far ahead?
Well, because the game isn't that. It's not
rigged.
just the 50-50
It's
chance.
a fix. It's a fix.
Right, give me your headline. What is the game? What is fake news or not, James?
So, fake news or not is where I bring to the table a headline that is either made up by me and is fake, or is true and is wild from the world, basically.
Yes. And how many questions do I have this week?
None.
No, I think it's 2.
If you're so far ahead, you get none.
And at this point, James is just making up new rules on the fly.
And if I win this one, I get 10.
Oh, is that what? Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Oh. You ready?
I'm ready.
Serial toilet clogger sentenced to 150 days in jail.
That must have been a lot of toilets he clogged. Okay, that wasn't a question. That was a statement. Could you... Is it... Oh, no. Is this a question by me asking?
Don't think about it, Ben.
Okay. Serial toilet clogger. What's the most valuable questions I could ask here? How many toilets did he clog?
He clogged 5.
That's not that many.
It's not.
How many things do you... This is separate to fake news or not. Don't count this as a question. How many things do you have to do to become a serial something? Like if you're a serial killer, you have to...
I think I think there is a definition for this. I think it's like 2
Yeah.
within 5 years or something like that.
That's quite a low bar. Anyway.
Low bar.
Right, how many toilets? I don't think this is going to really help me, but where was this? Was this the UK? Was it America? Can you be more specific than country?
It was in America, in the state of...
See, the America makes me immediately think it's a bit more true for some reason. If it's Florida, then confirmed.
It's not Florida.
Oh.
I think it's Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Yes, I'm going to say Wisconsin. Let me. Shall I double check? Do you want me to double check? Let me just read through this.
Double check your notes or double check the story?
Good question, Ben. Or is it all? Is it all a ruse?
I'm definitely leaning one way.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to go with Wisconsin.
Okay, cool. Just to please you this week, I think this is true, so I'm just going to say it's true. I'm not going to go against my second gut or my third gut. I'm just going to go with my initial feeling. I think this is true.
So you think it's true?
I think this is a true story.
Well, actually, Ben, it's true. Fuck you and your stupid system.
I didn't use the system. I did what you wanted me to do.
I don't care. Whatever system you use and you get it right, I don't like it.
You don't.
Yes, he went around and he was originally charged
Why?
with 12.
Why was he doing this? What was he clogging them with? These are all the questions I wanted to ask.
So basically, a 35-year-old Shebogan man.
Shebogan?
Shebogan?
Shebogan? What is Shebogan? She.
Boy.
Gan. Sheboygan.
That's
What is that?
It's a place.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. Because the title originally was Sheboygan Serial Toilet Clogger Sentenced to 150 days in jail.
Okay.
Probation.
That's grammar, yes.
Yeah, so, but then I was like, I'm not going to put Sheboygan in there.
Sheboygan.
Because you're not going to think I'm going to think of the word Sheboygan.
I'd have either thought, you're just making up a really weird word to make me think this is true, or that would have probably thrown me off even more,
Possibly.
actually.
Because I was worrying how to pronounce Shebogan.
Shebogan.
Anyway, he was actually sentenced to 3 years of probation for clogging women's toilets in DeLand Park and at his place of work. He's going around clogging women's toilets. I don't know if he was just a massive shitter, or a shit. Do you know what I mean? He was going around and just clogging them.
That would be really shit if he was just taking a shit and he was unintentionally clogging these toilets, and then he gets put in jail for it.
But he will only have to serve 150 days. So he got charged with 5 counts, 30 days each, and he'll have to pay. How much do you reckon? It's a load of money. It's loads of money, Ben.
Oh, fuck off.
Loads of money. Is it more or less?
Well, if it's loads, it must be $3,000.
Well, it's actually 5,500.
Is it?
Yes.
May as well have jumped out of a plane without a parachute.
Might as well have. Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, there we go. 33 to 25.
He participates in a program where he can still work, but he requires him to report back to jail each day after work.
Really?
Yeah. That's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah, that must be... I don't know whether that would be nicer or not.
Depends what jail's like.
Yeah.
You get free food.
I've never heard of that before.
No, it's called a...
Is it like a proper jail
The Huber program. Yeah, I think so. They just let you in.
Sheboygan.
Sheboygan.
Anyway, right. Well, another victory.
For you, yes. Great.
Me.
Amazing. Love it. Perfect.
Well, that does mean I only get one question now next week.
It does.
We've not discussed
I'm
this.
going to come up with something ridiculous.
Do I get no questions if I win again?
Yes.
What happens past that?
You
just get an automatic point.
You get -1 question.
-1 question.
I start removing.
I was removing the word from the title. That's it. But then you'll just create one. Go. Well, this was just a one-word headline, so now you got nothing.
This one's just the.
That sounds true. Right, should we move on?
Yes.
Main topic.
Right, Ben.
Right then.
What are we talking about this week?
We're talking about 90's kids.
Toys.
Yes. And crazes.
And crazes, yes, generally.
We're talking about things that, as children, we would have enjoyed.
Yeah, we were feeling quite nostalgic.
Yeah.
So we've decided to talk about what happened in the past.
Yeah, crazes at school, toys, card games, board games.
Yeah.
You name it, we've got it.
We have spoken about Pokemon in the past, right?
Yes.
Were you into the cards as well?
Yes.
Massively into the cards?
Yes. I'm very upset about my cards, actually.
Oh, tell me about it, Ben.
Well, I had a massive, massive collection. And you know, you get the books
Yeah.
that you'd put the cards in and you'd collect them. I didn't ever have one of them, so this might be a reason to why this happened. I had just massive stacks of them that I'd keep together with an elastic band.
Of course.
And I think I had maybe 3 full stacks that were maybe about 30 centimeters high.
That's about a foot, I would say.
Each. So it was a lot of cards.
Are they as tall as you as a child? Like, you've stacked them all up together?
I thought you were going to say I was only 1 foot, but 2 of these 3 stacks got stolen from me at school.
Oh, did you get beaten up?
I didn't get beaten up. I didn't even witness the taking. Because, you know, in school, did you have little drawers? Like, when you're so young that you don't have lockers, you just have drawers. Mm-hmm. They were taken from my drawer. But they left 1 stack, so thanks for that.
Do you think you just lost them then? That's what I would... If I was the thief, I would leave a stack. I feel like that's quite a young, smart thief.
Yeah.
They've left 1 stack to make you think, maybe I've just lost them.
No, I'm... We'll see. It's been so many years now. I probably did just lose them, but I'm fairly sure that they were taken from me.
I bet you lost them and you came home like, oh shit, I've lost them. I've got to tell my mum that they've been stolen.
Maybe that's what happened.
Did you kick off at school? Like, would the teacher come out and go, somebody in this class?
I was very quiet. I seem to remember I cried about it in the toilets, but then I don't think I went to a teacher. I was a very nervous, quiet child, so I don't think I would have gone to a teacher anyway. Oh. Even if they were like taken from me on my person, physically. On the subject of these cards, they were basically like you'd battle with them.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether it was because we were just so young. I don't think any of us knew how to play.
With Pokemon cards, I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm almost certain I didn't. But with Yu-Gi-Oh cards...
Yeah, because that came a bit later.
On, I did.
No, our school did eventually ban everything Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because we used to take our Game Boys in and trade and battle, and we had the cards, and I think it was just all anyone spoke about. So I think everyone eventually was like, this should be school. Let's ban this.
Yeah. I remember, because I was quite young and having friends that were a little bit older, being kind of swindled out of good cards.
Oh, yeah.
Being like, here's a Caterpie. This is like an amazing card.
Yeah.
And like a load of them would like big it up, and I'd be like, oh yeah, you can have my shiny Charizard.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And so there was a Mew card
that you got for going to the film.
I think you could buy it as well.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, you could only get it for going to see it in the cinema.
Maybe I missed it then.
Yeah.
And it was on sale somewhere because we bought it for £3 at the time for a single card.
Ooh. With inflation, that's like $2,000.
I could buy a parachute with that now. So basically, my mum was like, you are not losing this card. I spent too much money on that. I'm going to put it in a safe place.
Okay.
Never seen it since.
Never seen it again.
Never seen it. It's gone. Like, it's gone to the ether. That's disappeared. It's like a running joke in our family now that if we can't find something, it's in a safe place. It's in a safe place.
Yeah.
Next to that Mew card. Could be anywhere.
That's always the way, isn't it? If you got something special, it's like, oh, put this somewhere safe. Or if you got a bit of food, like a really nice dessert or something, it's like, oh, I'm going to save that. And then you save it for so long that it just goes out of date.
Yeah. So that was my mother, and we still berate her for it now that she lost my Mew card. I don't forgive you, Mum. Straight up.
Never forgiven.
Never forgiven. Never forgot either.
Right, let's bring up. I've got a list here, which I think you might have already... Do you recognise this list?
Yes.
Should we go to this list then?
No, let's go through the one.
Let's go through the one that you know. Right, let's go through all these 90s things and see if we remember them. I don't think that's actually part of the list, is it? Here we go. Tamagotchi.
Yes. I was not massively into them. I think I was in the craze, but not like massively into the craze.
I was. I remember getting so upset because you'd have to go to school and you can... A Tamagotchi, if anyone doesn't know, is like a little egg-shaped thing with a screen and like 3 buttons, and it was a pet.
Yeah.
And you had to just look after it.
And it could die.
And you had to clean it up. And if you didn't clean up the poop, it would get ill and then it'd die. Mm-hmm. But it would get ill so quickly. Like, if you went to school for a day, by the time you got home, it'd be dead.
Yeah.
And it was traumatizing.
I remember there being a thing where, I think in Japan, it was like you could go to a funeral for these Tamagotchis and they'd like bury it in the ground.
That's a lot of funerals you'd be going to. Why would you bury the Tamagotchi? Because then you could just get a new one.
No. That one was special.
Jesus.
So you'd bury it, and then that'd be you'd say goodbye to.
That got expensive for
poop
Japanese
face.
Parents.
Yes, probably.
Pay for a funeral and buy a new Tamagotchi every time one of them died.
I don't think they did it every time.
No.
But I know that it was and I don't know whether that's just like a made up story to like.
Yeah, mate, that sounds like fake news.
It does sound like fake news, doesn't it? So maybe I've believed it myself.
No, I love that. Right, next on the list, Bop It.
I loved Bop It.
Yeah. I never had one.
Really?
Yeah. I had one friend who I remember having it, and I don't think he explained it to me. He just kind of like handed it to me, and I was like, it just did a bum, 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 bop it, pull it, twist it. And I was like, I don't understand what this thing is. Just never played with it.
Do you know? I quite that one that's like Bop It 2. So it was like the two handles with twist it, flick it, pull it, spin it, bop it.
Yeah. And
I used to really enjoy it. And I used to play it without the words.
Yeah.
It'd just be the sounds. Like that's like the next level. I always like the 2-player one where it was like you'd pass it along. So you'd do it and then it pass it along and it gets quicker and quicker and quicker. Like hot potato mode.
I bet if these are still on sale now, when we eventually do a housewarming or any party that we go to, we should get a Bop It and do drinking game with it.
Yeah, actually, I think that'd make a really good.
That'd be incredible.
Game. Yeah.
How has that not become a craze for 2010
Let's start it.
Adults?
Let's start it. We'll do it.
Let's do that. Right, next on the list, Cadbury's Chocolate Money Box. I do remember. Oh, did you not? No. I had one of these.
What is it?
It looks like a telephone box almost, like in colour. It's just like a little tower, and it has tiny little dairy milk pieces that came in like wrappers. Mm-hmm. And I remember you could buy like refills for it. Yeah. It wasn't really a game. It was literally just a money box, and it could also have chocolate too. And
every time you put money in, it gave you chocolate? Or
no. Oh, maybe. That would make more sense. I don't remember that, but that would be a good feature.
Did you just break it? Like fat little kid, you're like, give me that fucking chocolate.
Yeah, maybe I did. Maybe I just broke off the bottom and
just ate the chocolate.
Just ate all the chocolate.
Yeah.
Well, there's a big hitter next on the list.
There is.
Furby.
Now that is a classic.
That is a classic.
I think we had a couple of Furbies at home.
Yeah.
I don't really understand why they were so big. Have you ever seen a Furby without the fur?
Oh yeah, they're terrifying.
They are creepy.
Like demon.
And even looking at it now, I think it looks a little bit creepy with like the big eyes and like eyelashes.
It had eyelids that like actually closed.
Yeah,
I do know what you mean. With I could see why that would be scary.
Like it's what is it? Gremlins. The film. It's a lot like that, but in kind of toy form. Mm-hmm. And you could definitely see a horror film with those.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Black Mirror. The one with Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
Miley 2, not Miley 2, whatever she's called.
Ashley O.
And Ashley 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
Doll. Ashley 2 is basically a Furby.
Yeah, just a bit cleverer. I don't remember Furby actually doing anything.
It could say names.
Could it?
It could say like its own name. I think you could work out its name.
Yeah, yeah.
I think, remember, there was like a button on the tongue and you would press the tongue for those people out there that aren't from my area.
That are correct.
Yeah, I thought they were a bit weird.
Again, I never had one, but I remember my cousin did have one, and I always wanted hers.
But I think they were like fun for like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
like a lot of these crazes are.
The other thing, I don't think this will be on the list. They were what were they called? Neopets. Tiny little plastic like dogs or cats. They weren't actually animals. They were like space age ones.
Neopets is an online game. I think you're thinking of
something
else.
They tied in.
Nah.
Let's Google this. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, but they were them.
Neopets was definitely an online game site thing, like Habbo Hotel or something like that. That looks like just a toy from the website, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They tied in together. They were these little things.
Okay.
And you'd like press the button on their head, and like you had to look after them, but I don't think they obviously wouldn't die if you didn't. But they had these like songs that they'd sing, like you'd press it and it'd be like do 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 do, and then you just hear, because like little plastic arms, it just go like you'd hear it always go like go off in the night,
creepy,
like, and it just in the corner of you just you'd be like, oh shit, there's something in my room.
That's so creepy. Actually, speaking of toys, Toy Story 4 has come out.
I've not seen it yet.
Have you not seen it?
I really want to see it.
I had a little thought about it the other day, in that those toys are really quite old now. Can, in the world of Toy Story, there's It's quite nostalgic, actually.
Yeah.
I had a Buzz Lightyear as a child.
I think that's on this list.
I've got a story about that.
I've got one too. Not about yours.
Where if one of these toys dies, the toys would know it was dead,
Yeah.
but the child wouldn't know it was dead. Right?
Yeah.
In the world, can they die? Anyway, if they could die, then you'd be like in a box with a dead body.
Yep.
That's a
And
bit.
child just be playing with a corpse.
Yeah,
I don't think they can die.
I think not as well because of what's he called, Sid Next Door,
Yes.
and all those like multiple parts.
Yeah, he just like make weird, twisted. I found that really scary as a child. I think it was like a baby on claws, like a baby head.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
creepy.
No, I don't think they can die.
Fair enough. Then what I said's moot.
Or maybe we'll find out in Toy Story 4 that some main characters.
True that. True.
What's your Buzz Lightyear?
Oh yeah, so I used to have a Buzz Lightyear, and it was like you press the button on the chest, and its wings would come out. Wings.
Yeah, we had the same
And
one.
and the visor would come up and down.
Yeah.
I remember my dad. He would say like, "Oh, you need to go and put the Buzz away." So I went and put Buzz away, and he came back. It's like, "Why have you not put Buzz away?" I was like, "What? What do you mean?" It's like, "It's the way." It's like, "No, there." Yeah, this made dad really northern. He's like, "It's a buzz," and so this is what northern people called a bus. And we used to have this like big red bus that you would like. It's like a playhouse but on wheels.
Yeah.
And he was like, I remember being quite upset because I like didn't understand. He was like telling me off something I just didn't understand. I was like, "Buzz is away. The buzz is away. The buzz is away."
Yeah.
But he didn't mean Buzz Lightyear.
Well, there we go.
I like it. I like imagining now. There's a northern version of Toy Story where Buzz is just a red buzz.
Yeah. You see, if Northerners spoke properly,
You
these
mean-
issues wouldn't happen.
If they spoke proper,
Yeah.
yeah. I gave my dad like a Yorkshire accent there. He's not from Yorkshire.
He's not from Yorkshire.
No,
No.
but he does say Buzz.
Yeah. My story was a little more sad than that. I remember we got to an age where, you know, when you're kind of outgrowing these toys, but you also really want to play with them still. Mm-hmm. Around then, we went to a car boot, and I made a box of things that I wanted to clear out, and one of them was Buzz and his spaceship. So I took them to the car boot, and I think I put a price on it for like £2, something like that. And then this woman came along. I can picture it like vividly, and she was like, "Will you go any cheaper?" And she was like, "How about 50p?" And I think I was like, "Go on then." And then I remember I sold it, and I was gutted.
Yeah.
I was like properly upset that I'd got rid of it for. I think I'd have been upset if she actually had got it for £2.
Yeah.
But the fact it was 50p, and I didn't have it anymore.
Just wrangled you out of it. Car boot sales are the worst for that.
The people are like vultures. I remember that we only did it like 2 or 3 times, but we pulled up, and I remember that you'd have a crowd of people around your car trying to open the boot before you'd even parked, because they were like, "Fresh meat, there's going to be some new stuff in here." I remember being a bit terrified as a kid,
Really?
because I was like, "Why are they trying to break into our car?" Like,
Wow.
yeah,
That's creepy, that.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't really like car boot sales. I think
I bet you could get some gems there though.
you can actually. I was going to speak about this in the news, but there was a chess piece that was bought at a car boot for I think under a £5 or something like that.
Okay.
That has just been sold for, I think it's £750,000.
What was this chess piece?
So it's like a medieval age Nordic chess piece,
wow.
and it got sold. It's just one piece, not like a full set.
How much do you reckon? Can you imagine if that in a box had been found like the full board?
Yeah, and the set and stuff. Yeah, crazy. So I thought I found it quite interesting.
Yeah.
But it's a bit too chess related, I think.
Bit too, yeah.
I always feel like when I talk about something that I'm quite interested in, like I'm like scared to talk about it on the podcast.
I worry about it too.
It's like, I'd say.
Not you. I
It's
don't
too
worry
niche.
about you bringing
I
stories.
worry about you, James, and your chess interests. Get over there. Get away from that.
Oh dear.
Go on.
Next on the list, I'm going to skip over Dear Diary because I don't think either of us would have
I
had
think that
one.
was not our scene, was it?
Yeah. But Troll Dolls,
Troll Dolls, I think I hated.
did you?
I never really liked them. I thought they were ugly.
Yeah.
But some people had a weird obsession with them.
Yeah, I never like collected them, but I think you could get them at arcades and stuff, like on the 2p machines.
Yeah.
They were like things that would fall out. And I remember having a couple of them. I think I ruined them because they've got quite a lot of hair. Mm-hmm. And I think I actually got like my pot of hair gel and thought, I wonder what I can do with this. And I think it just ruined all of them.
My ex-girlfriend was obsessed with Troll Dolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she pretty much grown out of it, but she still had like a full bin bag's worth of troll dolls. And like I remember her getting them out, and I'm like, wow, this is a lot of dolls. And she's like, this one's my favorite, and it was like horrendous looking. They're all just like proper ugly.
And that was the point you broke up.
Yeah, this was right at the beginning actually.
Oh god. Hungry Hippos.
Nah, that was a game.
That was a game.
I think
we should play it. Can we just have like a 90s themed party?
Well, Annie tried that for her 25th. You couldn't have like a games night.
No,
like
that's what, we were at a bar there. We had 90s theme because I came in flame shirt and chain on the jeans. I enjoyed that theme. We should do that again, but just games. Yeah,
I think Hungry Hippos is probably like the first competitive game I ever played.
Yeah.
And I think I liked it.
And that's what got you hooked.
Yeah, probably.
I feel like Hungry Hippos always had a little bit of an element of luck, though.
Oh, it's all luck.
Yeah, like you couldn't really time until the very, very end. You couldn't time them eating the balls. No. You just had to smash it as fast as you could.
Yeah, you're just smashing them hippos.
Yeah, smash that. I love smashing them hippos.
No, you're basically slapping that hippo's ass, aren't you? Basically.
Yeah, basically. I think that was the only time where like, me and my two sisters, we really got on, but I can remember things getting pretty heated when we'd play Hungry Hippos. On saying, you're cheating, you're tipping the board up towards you. Yeah.
A classic.
Another Toy Story one.
Yes.
Mr. Potato Head.
I never had a Mr. Potato Head.
I had a Mr. Potato Head.
I didn't realise he was a toy before Toy Story, right?
Was he?
I think so.
Oh, it says there, the first Mr. Potato Head came out in 1949.
Yeah, and you would get the parts, right? You wouldn't get the body, but you'd get the parts and you'd stick it into a potato.
I did, no, that was probably the first one.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh no, I was going to say I actually had the plastic one. Because then I remember you could get like expansion packs for him, like with additional mustaches and, yeah.
Mrs. Potato Head.
Mrs. Potato Head, yeah.
Classic. No, I don't think I really liked it. Was one of the big things for me.
No, I don't remember it being like a treasured childhood toy. Not like Buzz Lightyear.
I feel like it's the kind of thing that you'd get at Christmas. You play for about 10 minutes and then never touch again.
Yeah.
I think, looking back at it now, the amount of toys that I got for Christmas and stuff like that as a young child was too much.
Yeah.
But that's what you demand as a kid, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Parents must hate it that you spend like all this money on like different toys. And then, like, the kid just enjoys this one that was like £5, and you can't decide what they like the most.
Yeah,
but it's still quite frustrating.
That's what I think. Like, if children were never introduced to getting hundreds of toys, like at birthdays and stuff, I reckon you'd be fine with just if you had like 3 toys, you'd be fine with it.
Is this a middle class thing? This feels like middle class thing.
Yeah, maybe. There's people out there going, I wish I had more than that one plastic box I played with.
Woe is me! I had too many toys, and I was a spoiled child.
Oh, God.
I think I clocked on quite quickly, though. I decided, I was like, no, I want one expensive gift.
Yeah.
This is what I want. That's kind of what
that was definitely an age thing, wasn't it?
I don't know.
As you got older, you realised, oh no, it's better to actually have like one good thing.
Yeah. I think my first one was like a bike.
Yeah.
I wanted to get a bike. And then a PlayStation. Oh, yeah.
That didn't come until much later.
No.
My Little Pony?
I'm not a brony, I'm afraid.
No. My two sisters had a lot of My Little Ponies, but...
Are they bronies?
Bronies?
Do you know what a brony is?
No.
You don't know what a brony is?
No. The more I say no, I'm going to keep saying no.
I thought you were like versed on internet culture. Google brony now.
Should I?
Yes.
I feel like this is going to be something horrific.
So do you want to read out the dictionary definition there?
I can just see one picture in the corner that looks awful. A fan of the show My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Often male, but female fans are not uncommon. Mm-hmm. Bronies usually show a want to be accepted as normal people, but don't appear to realise that to be treated the same as anyone else, they need to stop making sure everyone knows and remembers that they are a brony at all times without fail.
Basically, there's like an obsession with My Little Pony. But then you have like really weird obsessions.
Yeah.
It's in the same way that it's like they're doing odd things with a children's program.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you obsessed with this?
Well, I can confirm I'm not a brony.
Well, suspicious, isn't it?
I didn't know what a one was until a minute
Well, that's
ago.
what someone who was a brony that was trying to deny it would say.
Well, no, apparently to be a brony, you have to remind them every waking second that you are a brony, so...
Fair enough.
Oh, they've got an example conversation here. Okay.
Cool.
Do you want to take the role of person and I'll be brony? Can you read that?
Oh, hey, you seem pretty okay. Want to talk?
Oh, hi. By the way, I'm a brony.
That's cool.
Yeah, I watch Friendship is Magic every day. Hey, who's your favourite pony?
I don't want you.
Oh, I should show you. Let me show you it. You'll love it forever.
No, really, I'm fine. Can we talk about something else?
Oh, look, something that looks vaguely pony-shaped. It looks just like the pony Magic Sparkles. It says just name there, so I thought I'd make one.
I think Magic Sparkles is one.
Is it actually?
I don't know.
Well, I have a brony.
Okay, I'm done.
Walks away. That was exciting, wasn't it?
That's getting cut.
It's definitely not.
I think my acting was much stronger than yours there, Ben. I think you did put enough effort into it.
I think you're a shit. And that wasn't acting.
That's true. That's true.
Right, this Magnadoodle.
I didn't know what it was called, but I did have one of these.
Yeah, with the pen.
And like magnets and drawing.
And Magnadoodle, I suppose it says it in the name, really. Like an Etch-a-Sketch, but with a pen.
Yeah, I thought it was quite cool.
Yeah.
But I wasn't very artistic, so I didn't do very well with it.
Yeah.
The same with Etch-a-Sketch as well.
Etch-a-Sketch. They were so hard to draw with.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was like a Tron situation that once you crossed over a line, like you couldn't... Do you know what I mean? There was no stopping it, really. The line, once it was going.
Well, did you just have like hands that you couldn't stop? It just went how you turn the knobs.
No, but what I'm saying is you couldn't stop the line. At least on the one I had. Maybe it was broken.
Right, if you took your hands off it, would the line stop?
Yes, I realised that like I couldn't physically I can't
I'm stuck on this machine.
What I mean
Help
is,
me, please.
say-
I can't stop drawing.
Say if you wanted to draw two squares separately, you'd have a line connecting the squares.
Yes.
Because you couldn't...
That's an Etch-a-Sketch. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying.
It's basically
it
like...
was hard to draw with because you couldn't break the line.
No, did you never do that at school for like art? It was like you can't take your pencil off the
Yeah.
paper. Yeah, well, that's what Etch-a-Sketch was. You just
I
had
understand what it was.
Well, stop complaining then.
You can't talk about complaints when you complain about tea bags being connected for 4 weeks in a row.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's a serious issue.
So is Etch-a-Sketch.
I've had people talk to me and said, I agree with you, James. That is an issue.
Well, I'm going to be inundated with people talking about Etch-a-Sketches
You will
to
not.
me.
Bullshit. Because but the thing is, you could make absolutely beautiful pictures with it as well. By you, I don't mean you.
Oh no, I mean beautiful pictures.
The collective universe, people who are very good at it could do.
Yes.
And I've seen some very beautiful pictures. Mine consisted of being shit and just drawing nothing and then just shaking it to get rid of it.
Exactly.
A classic.
A classic. Text of the dog.
I do remember this, but I also remember it being terrible.
This was the most excited I can remember being. Maybe not the most excited, but I was very excited about getting this. We got one to share between me and two sisters. But I don't think they were very interested because I seem to remember this just becoming my toy.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Really?
I don't think it could really do anything.
Exactly.
I remember when we went on, if no one knows what Text of the Dog is, it's a little robot dog.
Yeah.
No more to say, really. It's all silver. Like, it's an obviously robot dog.
Yeah.
It's not
It's like K9.
disguised.
But looks more like a dog than a box and a head.
But I can remember dropping this off to my nan to look after when we went on holiday, and I couldn't take him with me.
Wow, you were a loser as a kid.
Yeah.
What do you mean you had to drop it off? Did you not realise that it was a dead dog?
Yeah,
Not
but I
real?
thought he'd get lonely.
Okay. Sure, if you say so.
Right. This next one, Crazy Bones.
Right.
My girlfriend said this was a massive craze at her school. I'd never seen one in my life.
I think I'd seen them, but only in shops. I don't think I ever bought one, or I don't think I knew anybody that had them.
So it wasn't a craze at your school either?
Not really,
Because
no.
it just wasn't on my radar. Like, I saw a picture and she was like, oh my God, Crazy Bones. And I was like, what is it?
Yeah, no, I think I remember seeing them, but I wasn't into them.
I think the premise was that you'd play, like, Tiddlywinks with it.
Is it not like you'd throw it and try and get in, as close as to the... Or are you trying to get into a pot?
Something like that. I think there was throwing involved.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've never played with one, so I'm hearing from like third-party information about something I've never seen.
Speaking of Tiddlywinks, do you know of the game of Pogs?
No, that was another one I saw on lists, but I'd never...
I think this was probably just as I was really young. I think you must have been a baby, probably.
Yeah, that's probably why I don't remember.
Yeah, and it was basically like Tiddlywinks, but like lots of different stuff on them.
Yeah.
And you kind of had collectible ones, and then different companies would produce a Pog for you to...
Right.
I think Pog's such a very weird word.
It is a weird word, but maybe that's why children liked it.
Yeah. So I was quite into them, and they would come. I think I kept them in like a long tube, and you could play like tiddlywinks with them. Basically, you'd have like a big pog that you flick the other pogs with, and you try and get them into the middle.
Sounds like tiddlywinks.
Yes, tiddlywinks in a nutshell, basically.
Yeah, I suppose we got the tail end of 90s kids.
Yeah,
seeing as where we were born. I mean,
we
weren't born,
and you were even less than me.
I was even less.
You're basically a noughties. Yeah,
Doodle Bear.
I think Cole might have had one of these, or I definitely saw on TV.
Yeah,
where you like draw on the bear and then you wash it.
Yeah. Although, because again, this was one. I think I got best of both worlds because I also got to experience my sister's toys as well as mine. I don't remember it getting washed and reused again. I think that they just did like one design and they were like, "No, this is Doodle Bear now. Like,
right.
It's not getting drawn on again."
I think you could wash it.
Yeah, I think you could.
Yeah,
Doodle Bear. This one doesn't even get a picture. This is the best one. Game Boy Color.
Mm-hmm. A classic.
Best. I feel like we don't need to talk about this because we have an entire episode where we basically just talk about Game Boy.
For sure.
Episode number 1. I think it was.
It is.
Yeah. Talk Boy.
Don't know it.
This was what he used in Home Alone.
Oh, is it?
You know when he's recording things and plays it back?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Never had one. Yeah. Power Rangers.
I think I was kind of into Power Rangers as a kid.
Yeah, I'd say
massively.
loosely.
Is Power Rangers slightly racist?
Why?
Because you'd like the black Power Ranger was always black, and the yellow Power Ranger was always Asian.
I thought the green one was Asian.
I think it was. Was it not yellow originally? Maybe at your age it was.
I wasn't that. We're basically the same age.
You're like 3 years younger.
3 years? How old are you?
26.
And I'm 25.
That's 3.
Oh god.
And then the pink one was always a girl.
Yeah. Sexist, maybe.
Sexist.
Yeah.
Sexy, maybe.
Here we go. Look at the... Hey. Steady on you. Next on the list, Pogs.
There you go.
Already spoken about. Mm-hmm. Dream Phone. Baby Born, Baby Born.
Yeah, is this the one that peed?
No, that was Baby Wee Wee.
Silly me. Sorry. Baby Wee Wee.
No, I remember my sister had Baby Wee Wee because I think it had a... Did you open its back, I think? And you had to fill it with water and then you'd squeeze it or shake it.
I think you could feed it through its mouth.
Oh, could you?
Or if from what I remember.
It wasn't my toy, so I'm probably just imagining it slightly wrong.
which is the story is just shoving stuff up its butt. Is that what you're saying?
Do you reckon they came with a baby poo-poo as well as baby wee-wee?
I think the next one down is that.
Is it actually?
Something like that.
Baby all gone.
Yeah.
Baby Born's greedier cousin. Although all she ate was milk and cherries, she was definitely healthier than us and our McNuggets. It doesn't really explain much about what...
I think this was the one that had like a spoon.
Yeah.
And you put it in the baby's mouth and then the spoon
it would change.
Yeah.
I do... Yeah, my sister's definitely had one of them.
Yeah.
Because I was always a bit fascinated by the spoon changing.
Why do you think it is that children like baby toys that are babies?
I had one that I liked called maybe it was a Baby Born, but it was a boy one and I called him Baby William. I don't know, because you see that a lot, don't you? Like little children pushing around a baby in a little pushchair.
Yeah, is that because they've seen the parents do it for themselves
and they want to? Yeah, maybe.
Or is it, is that a maternal thing? Like often in the past you might have lots and lots of children and you need someone to look after the first child, so you give it to
maybe, or maybe is it like a relatable thing? It's like, this is me, but a bit smaller.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange though, isn't it?
Yeah. Question. Maybe that's a next episode. Well, Thunderbird's Tracy Island.
I don't think I ever had this.
No,
but I think I wanted this.
I think I had Thunderbird 2, like the toy, but I didn't have the island, and I always wanted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did always look cool. Although I feel like if you own the island and the toys, aren't you just owning the Thunderbirds? Because the Thunderbirds are basically just toys, aren't they? Like the dolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one, Sky Dancers.
I remember these.
My sisters had these, and they were very girly toys. So I remember I wanted a boy version of this because they were amazing. Like there was a handle, and you'd like pull a cord, I think, and then the Sky Dancer doll had these wings that would it just fly up into the air.
Have you ever seen like the classic internet video where someone's just got one of this and they're so excited, and they're like watching it, and then it just flies into the fire.
Oh,
and it just
no,
burns and
I've not
dies.
seen that.
Yeah. That's a classic.
Oh, God. Stretch Armstrong.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I did have this. Actually, I don't think I did. I think my friend had this.
My cousin had it, and we loved it until we snapped him in half.
Yes, you can only pull him so far, can't you? And then
He did stretch a lot.
he was
Like,
very stretchy. But then when he broke, he'd make a mess, though, wouldn't he, as well? I think he had some sort of powder or stuff inside him.
it was like a dusty kind of sand stuff, wasn't it?
Asbestos.
Probably.
It probably was. It probably actually was.
Oh, God.
Imagine actually, I don't have to know what it was. I wonder if it was. And you're just playing with asbestos the whole time.
Just full of uranium.
Glow boy. He glows and he'll make you glow too.
There's no picture of this one. Mr. Bucket. Does that ring a bell? Try to get all 4 balls.
Try to get your balls in Mr. Bucket's mouth. This is a weird one, this one, Ben. I think this one's a spatula in the works. So I think that's a real one.
Waterfall ring toss. I did have this, and it frustrated me, but I loved it.
Yeah, so it was basically a load of rings in water, and you had like a little pump that could squirt water up, and you had to get it on some plastic hoops.
Yeah,
plastic points.
Plastic
and get the hoops
points.
on. Yeah, it was just a bit shit, wasn't it?
It was. It was frustrating because once you got it on the thing, on the little point, you had more that you still needed to get on, but every time you pressed the button, it just put a current through the whole thing. So the one you got on the point would sometimes come off again.
It was an impossible game, I think.
It was. That's the end of the list. So have you got any more that you want to talk about? Because I know I've got a couple.
Right. Do you remember?
Probably not.
It was like this rubbery plastic thing that you'd put on your hand, and it had like a big, long elastic string, and the end was like a rubber ball. And you could like bounce it backwards and forwards on your hand, and you could like spin them round. Do you not remember this? It was like a pointy, plasticky ball. I don't know what to call them.
No,
they were a craze.
Oh no, I do know what you mean.
They were a craze for like a month, and then there was like proper hoo-ha because like children had died.
I remember this because then they re-released them, but they had to cut the cord off, and they were just little ball. Yeah, I do remember this.
Yeah. Because like they'd get stuck around your neck.
Yeah.
And then because it was sticky, you couldn't untangle it. So like children died. I don't know if that's an actual true story.
No, I think someone did die.
Yeah.
I'm sure I remember because I think I must have been a little bit older when this happened because I remember my mum saying, "You can't have this because someone died." Yeah.
I'm going to make an assumption here, but I don't know if it's true. Were you into the finger skateboards?
Yeah, tech decks.
I knew it. You're just that kind of person. I just knew you would be.
Yeah. Were you? Well, me and my friends, we got super into skateboarding. None of us were any good.
Yeah.
Like I think one of us was just braver than the others and could actually go down the half pipe. Yeah. That was his thing. I just about could do an ollie, like just back it up. That was my thing. I think one of them could like just balance better than us on it. We're all really shit, but we'd spend days and weeks and months like at the skate park in the summer. Mm-hmm. I remember loving that.
Yeah. I thought that would be your scene, and then the skateboard finger tricks would be your You'd be into that.
I never got super into the tech decks. I remember I did have one.
Yeah.
And I remember it just became like an absent-minded like fiddle with it. I could never like do tricks with my fingers
like an ollie
and stuff.
Yeah. Another one I've got is I don't know the name for it, but basically it was like a tube. There was like a really fat tube, and it would have water inside it, and if you squoze it, it like went in itself.
Yeah.
And you could like put your finger inside it.
Yeah.
And basically, looking back on it now, I think it was like kind of weird. Like you were like fingering this toy, and like I remember seeing someone tweet about it. Like if you use this, it was like practice for a hand job and stuff like that. And it was like, what?
Well, I don't think the premise of it wasn't that you fingered it. It was that it was like a slippery snake that you can hold on to.
Yeah. But you could and often would put your finger inside it.
Yeah. What were they called?
And I googled it, and they're called wigglers.
Wigglers.
God, some
of them have such rubbish names.
They do. Beyblades.
I
did enjoy a Beyblade.
And you'd hear like before the pre-internet, like word on the street is if you put one of your hairs and tape it in the middle, you get like an upper hand for 1 year. Or if you put some foil under one of the blades, like it was like tricks to make your Beyblade like mod it.
Totally random, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There are actually Beyblade like tournaments. I'm sure there was.
Yeah. I think there was.
But then they have like weight categories to them, and you couldn't be over a certain weight and that kind of stuff. That's crazy.
If anyone doesn't know, you get like a little plastic official Beyblade bowl, which
Yeah.
you like competed in. Or you could do it anyway, you could do it on a table. And you'd have this circular thing with a little spikes on the side, plastic ones, and then you'd rip a cord and it'd spin.
I think mine were metal. I think I had some metal ones.
I think someone at school did have a metal one, and everyone was like, you can't use that one because all of ours are plastic, and you'll
destroy them.
Yeah.
Slinkies.
So, yeah.
Overrated.
I feel like it sounds like in the dark ages, like years and years ago, like before our generation, they might have been fun, but there's a lot more toys than Slinky now.
Yeah. I think it's because you probably introduced them so young that they're not amazing anymore.
Yeah.
You're just like...
when you've got Buzz Lightyear that's wings pop out and his visor flips back, and when you get given a Slinky, it's like, oh.
No, nowadays it's when you've got an iPad and you can play lots of different games on that.
I was going to say this at the end, but I was properly thought it was sad when my little cousin, who was maybe 4 or 5 at the time, all he was doing was playing on his iPad. I remember, I think it might have been his birthday, and my mum asked him oh, why don't you play with any of your toys? And he was like, toys are boring. And I was like, oh, yeah, I found that a little sad, but I think this because iPads are so readily available now in mobile games, toys probably do get played with a lot less.
And games like that are made to be addictive and to make you want to play it more.
Yeah.
How about this? Aliens in an egg.
Right. Can you answer me this? Because I didn't Google this, and I've always wanted to know. Was it a playground myth that if you put 2 of them together, that you would they'd do something? I don't think you'd breed a whole new toy. I don't mean that, but there was someone would always say if you put these in an egg, and mix it with water or something, you'd get a third thing.
Do you know what I've written down here, Ben? It says aliens in egg giving birth to another alien.
Did that ever happen?
I think they came out with one later that did have another small alien inside it, but I think originally no.
Because as an adult now, I was trying to work out that physically couldn't have been possible with what we had.
No.
Because that was just a plastic alien in some goop.
It was. I loved it, man. Everybody loved it.
I loved it as well.
I don't know why.
It didn't do it. I remember I won one at Dave and Buster's, an arcade thing. Okay. We went to a friend's party and I won that, and that was the best thing ever. I don't know why.
No.
Bit crap, really.
I have no idea.
But they're amazing.
Yeah, they were amazing. And the one thing that I've got that we've not spoke about that I have written down is a castle that I used to have as a child, like a plastic made castle. Did you ever have one of these?
It was really quite sizable, actually. As I was a bit older, it was a wooden castle.
Oh, okay.
But it was maybe just about the size of this desk.
Yeah. Wow, really? I had one like that. It was a plastic
I had
grey
one
castle.
a little like that. The one I had, you could actually get in it and
wow,
move on, because I had loads
you are middle class.
I had loads of these like horses and knights and loads of medieval ones.
Did you just get shrunk down to a small toy? Is this what?
No,
but you.
I was in a film.
The fit.
Exactly.
Kids.
I shrunk the fish. Talking of fish and shrunk fish, this is a segue. Sea monkeys.
Oh yeah. I think they're just like plankton, aren't they? Or something like that.
There was I had sea monkeys, but the better one was triops.
Okay.
They were. I got a picture of it because they were actually kind of weird.
Triops. That's really. I've never heard them.
They were bigger than sea monkeys.
Oh,
they were these, and I think they're basically like a type of shrimp.
Oh, that's cool.
But they were amazing.
That's not a toy. That's a pet.
That's what I always found. Morally, is this a bit sketchy?
Sea monkeys were weird because they came in like a dry package, and then you would put them in water. And
Same as these triops.
Really?
They'd be.
I bet you got them as an egg though. Them didn't you?
Yeah, you got them in packets, paper packets, and you just. I think these ones they hatch into 4 or 5 of them.
It looks basically like a horseshoe crab, but tiny.
I remember that these actually grew, because sea monkeys were so small you could barely see anything, but they actually grew to be maybe that size, and you could see them shedding out of their skin and evolving. It was really quite weird. And I remember, again, my nan had to deal with some shit from me. She had to look after these when we went on holiday, and my last one died while we were away.
Oh,
he was called Spike. But I'm pretty sure these things ate each other.
Is that what you thought as a child, or you know now?
No, is it both? I think my parents said I'm pretty sure they eat each other. I have a feeling they might have killed the other one, but they had the tank was had a circular bit in the middle, and 4 little bits off the size.
Okay.
And I think one of them was like a nightclub. It was like glow in the dark.
Okay.
One of them was like a living room. One of them was a communal area. Like it was.
Right.
I remember really liking these.
God, imagine living next to a nightclub.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. I'm all out of nostalgia, I think.
I got one last nostalgic thing.
Go on.
Casio watches, but specifically the Casio watch that was a calculator, and you could also control the TV with it.
Wow,
that was incredible.
You're basically upper class here, aren't you?
Yeah, as a child,
you had a watch that could control the TV.
This was like, I'm pretty sure this wasn't a toy for me. I think my dad bought it.
Right.
Realized he never used it and was not actually functional really. So then just gave it to me. But to me, that was literally the best thing that had ever happened ever.
The bee's knees.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I remember sitting in maths, and then the teacher would always say, "Oh, when you're out and about in the world, you'll never have a calculator in your pocket." And I was like, "I've got it on my wrist."
And now
now everyone has phones. That thing was just Casio watches though in general. Do you remember they were cool?
I don't think I've ever owned a Casio watch.
Have you not?
Nope.
They've had a resurgence though. That's like a hipster cool thing.
Yeah, they have
in the last few years.
And maybe I'll get one.
Maybe you will.
I do miss wearing a watch. I used to wear my Apple Watch for a long time and then stopped. Right.
Right. This has been another episode of Two Sheep in a Pool. If you've got any nostalgic memories that you want to share, email in at bar@twosheepinapool.com because our email is actually working again now.
If you remember the 90s, let us know.
We didn't talk about MSN.
That's not a toy though, is it?
No. It was a craze though.
It was.
Yeah. You can find us in all the usual places. Our website's got links to all of it.
Instagram,
if you want to support
Facebook,
us
MSN,
on Patreon, we're on Patreon now. We've got no rewards, but if you fancy helping out in any way,
the reward is knowing that you're helping this podcast keep going.
Just even if every listener gave 1 penny.
No, don't give a penny.
£1.
No, because we need 100 listeners to pay to get a pound.
That's true.
It's
a bad business plan.
Terrible.
Okay,
listen to Ben.
I'll say if every listener donates, and then you say an amount.
As much as we could buy a parachute with.
Okay, well, we'd have some upgraded sound quality there, that's for sure. Anyway, we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.